Today we are going to investigate multiplying and dividing integers. Big ideas, 7th grade, lessons 2-1 and 2-2. All right, well, in the next few minutes we are going to do the 6 problems behind me. I'm using black and white because it makes me look really tan. What do you know about positives and negatives? Last week we did adding and subtracting. And for the large part, we talked about when we combine, whichever one we have more of, whether it be positive or negative, is going to indicate what the answer will be. Well, multiplying and dividing are different. All right. I don't know if you remember. We got to come up with. You got to remember the rules. When the signs are the same, the answer is positive. When the signs are different, the answer is negative. So the first one, -5 times -6. We're going to do each of these in 2 steps. The 2 steps are, what is the sign and what is the calculation with the digits? So negative times negative is positive. 5 times 6, 30. Good. Answer is positive 30. And again, when we put the answer in, we're not going to use the positive symbol. All right. I'm just showing it here in my work to remind myself that I actually did that part of the equation. All right. Second question. Positive times negative. Again, 2 steps. Positive times negative, negative. 3 times 4, 12. Answer is -12. Okay, this is kind of fun. You notice that they kind of look the same. This isn't smell-o-vision to you guys can't smell them, but trust me, they smell the same, but they're actually not the same. When we have parentheses and we're dealing with an exponent, the exponent will affect everything that is inside the parentheses. So when we think about this, it's going to be -2 squared. So we're multiplying 2, -2. So it's -2 times -2. Negative times negative is positive. 2 times 2 is 4. Answer is +4. When there are no parentheses, that exponent only affects what it is touching. It is only touching the 2. Therefore, that negative will not be multiplied until the end. So if you want to see what it looks like, it's actually going to look like this. So it's going to be -2 times 2. So we're multiplying 2 2's, 2 times 2, and then we're multiplying that negative. So -2 times +2 is negative. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. All right. The fun ones down here, okay, they're just some additional steps, but the process will remain very similar. So we have negative times positive is negative. And then so now we're here and we're at a negative. So then we do negative times negative, which is positive. Okay, so again, 2 steps, figuring out the sign first, then figuring out the digits. 2 times 17 is 34. And then 34 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 30 is 150. 150 plus 20 is 170. Answer is +170. Okay, last one. All right, this is fun. Kids love the distributive property. So before we even start solving, before we can even do anything with the symbols, with the sign, the positive negative sign, we have to distribute first. So it's -6 times -3. Well, negative times negative is positive. 6 times 3 is 18. Don't forget, you have to distribute to each of the terms that's inside the parentheses. So it's -6 times +4. So negative times positive is negative. 6 times 4 is 24. This 6 is not in the parentheses, so it just gets carried down. Okay. Once we're here, we have to remember from last week because now all of a sudden it's adding and subtracting again. So we're going to box off. All right. Me personally, when I get a situation like this where there's more than 2 terms, I'm going to combine like terms. So I have +18 and +6. They are going to combine to equal +24. and then I have a negative 24. Square them off. Positive 24, negative 24. Answer is 0. Now it's time for you to practice while I think of a question or two. Well, I'm thinking of 3 problems. So I was thinking of 3 problems, so I wrote them up here on the board. What I want you to do is I want you to write down each of the 3 problems. I want you to pause the video here. I want you to solve the 3 problems, and then I want you to press play because I will give you the answers in a moment. All right, you got to play by the rules though. So at this point, you're going to pause. Solve the problems. Press play when you're ready to see the answers. Okay? You're pausing in 3, 2, 1. And then remember, you're writing them down and solving them. 0. Pause. All right, there are a couple of you out here where this is a little tricky. Some of you didn't pause. I know you are. I can see you. I need you to pause when I count to when I get down to 0, and then I need you to write down the problems and solve them. 3, 2, 1. Pause. All right. Well, you've unpaused, so you have your answers. Let's go over them and see how you did. Negative times negative is positive. 1 times 12 is 12. Answer to the first one, positive 12. Second one, 2, negative 3 in parentheses squared. Now remember, when there are parentheses, the squared is going to affect everything in the parentheses. So it becomes 2 times negative 3 times negative 3. All right, because the negative is within the parentheses. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. 2 times positive 9 equals 18. Answer to the second problem is 18. Third one. All right, we've got to distribute first. Well, actually, in this one, there's a squared inside the parentheses. So let's do that first. We're going to rewrite the problem. So it's negative 4. 3 squared is 9. Okay, now we can distribute. Negative times positive 9 is negative. 4 times 9 is 36. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 8 is 32. Bring down the positive 1. Combine like terms. There are no other negatives. Again, box and square, box and square. We have a negative 36. Positive 32, positive 1 is positive 33. Combining these two, we end up with a negative 3. Answer is negative 3 for that one. All right, let's move on. Let's try some division. All right. First one's multiplying. What is that one even doing there? It's supposed to be a division sign in here. All right, welcome to the blooper reel. All right, here we go. So the first question. So we're dividing. We're dividing integers, positive and negative whole numbers. So the first one, right? Again, the process is going to be very similar, where we do everything in 2 steps. So we have negative divided by negative, which is going to be positive. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Answer is positive 3. Second one. Positive divided by negative is negative. 75 divided by 25, 3. Answer is negative 3. Third one. Looks like a fraction, smells like a fraction, but it is also another way that we can write a division problem. Negative divided by positive is negative. 54 divided by 6 is 9. Good. All right, this is where it gets a little bit more fun / interesting. So we have variables. They give you the value of the variable. So before we start solving, we have to plug in the value of the variables. So x divided by 2y, we're going to fill in the value of the variable. X is on top, so x is going to be 8 divided by 2y. When a number is next to a variable, that indicates what operation? Multiplication. So that's going to be 2 times y, so it's 2 times negative 4 on the bottom. So we solve this piece, so it becomes 8 over positive 2 times negative 4 is negative. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 divided by negative 8. Well, positive divided by negative is negative. 8 divided by 8 is 1. Answer is negative 1. Last one. All right, again, plug in the values. So we have negative 8 Negative x squared. Oh, that's not supposed to be a 4. That's supposed to be a y. Welcome to the blooper reel. So we're going to plug this in. So it's negative 8 squared plus 12 divided by y is negative 4. All right, we then do order of operation. Very important with this problem. Order of operation. Negative 8 squared. Remember, no parentheses, which means the 2 only affects the whole number. So 8 squared is 64, so this is negative 64 plus 12 divided by negative 4. What goes next? Correct. The division goes next. 12 divided by negative 4. Well, positive 12. Positive divided by negative is negative. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So it becomes negative 64 minus 3. Box and square, because we're combining. They're both negative, which means we're adding them. So we know our answer is going to be negative. 64 plus 3 is 67. Answer is negative 67. All right, now I'm going to think of a couple problems. All right, I thought of 3 problems. Here we go. Again, you are going to pause here. All right, after I think about the problems, you copy the 3 problems down. So we have 1, 15 divided by negative 3 in parentheses, negative 6 divided by negative 2. Here we have the values of a and b, and then b squared divided by a plus 4. So I will wait a second here. You will pause. You will copy the problems down, and you will solve them. After you are done solving them, you will press play. You will watch me solve them and check your answers. All right, pause. Pause, copy, solve. All right, so here we go. Positive divided by negative is negative. 15 divided by 3, 5. Answer is negative 5. Check your work. Mark it wrong if you're wrong. Put a big smiley face if you're right. Negative divided by negative is positive. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Answer is positive 3. Last one. They give us the values of the variables. We got to plug it in before we solve. So it's b squared. B squared is negative 6. Now remember, it's b that is being squared. Therefore, we put it in parentheses because the entire value of b is being squared. Divided by a, which is negative 18, plus 4. Now that we have this, now we can start solving. Negative 6 squared means negative 6 times negative 6. And again, the negative is included because it's in the parentheses. So that's 36 divided by negative 18 plus 4. We do division before addition. So 36 divided by negative 18. Positive divided by negative is negative. So that's negative 2. Bring over the plus 4. Negative 2 plus 4. Again, box and square, box and square. Opposite signs, which means we're going to subtract. We have more positives than negatives, which means our answer is going to be positive. 4 minus 2 is 2. Answer is positive 2. Correct your paper. How'd you do? All right. So I know this is a new format. I figured that since you're doing the big ideas practice, there was no reason why I needed to convert this over to Edpuzzle. So I thought we'd do it this way. But the pausing, copying, solving is a really important part of lessons working this way. So please make sure that you are doing that. Okay? You may not understand everything, but you should understand what you know. You should understand what you don't know. And you should have taken a step forward today after watching this lesson. That's it. Thank you. I will see you next time.